Chapter 4. The bronze altar and molten sea. Then he made an altar of brass, 20 cubits its length, and 20 cubits its breadth, and 10 cubits its height. Also he made the molten sea of 10 cubits, from brim to brim, round in compass, and its height was 5 cubits, and a line of 30 cubits encircled it. Under it was the likeness of oxen, which encircled it, for 10 cubits, encircling the sea. The oxen were in 2 rows, cast when it was cast. It stood on 12 oxen, 3 looking toward the north, and 3 looking toward the west, and 3 looking toward the south, and 3 looking toward the east. And the sea was set on them above, and all their hinder parts were inward. It was a handbreadth thick, and its brim was worked like the brim of a cup, like the flower of a lily. It received and held 3,000 baths. The 10 lavers, candlesticks, and tables. He made also 10 basins, and put 5 on the right hand, and 5 on the left, to wash in them. Such things as belonged to the burnt offering, they washed in them. But the sea was for the priests to wash in. He made the 10 lampstands of gold, according to the ordinance concerning them. And he set them in the temple, 5 on the right hand, and 5 on the left. He made also 10 tables, and placed them in the temple, 5 on the right side, and 5 on the left. He made 100 basins of gold. The courts. Furthermore, he made the court of the priests, and the great court, and doors for the court, and overlaid the doors of them with brass. He set the sea on the right side of the house, eastward, toward the south. The instruments of brass. Huram made the pots, and the shovels, and the basins. So Huram made an end of doing the work that he did for King Solomon in the house of God. The 2 pillars, and the bowls, and the 2 capitals which were on the top of the pillars, and the 2 networks to cover the 2 bowls of the capitals that were on the top of the pillars, and the 400 pomegranates for the 2 networks, 2 rows of pomegranates for each network, to cover the 2 bowls of the capitals that were on the pillars. He made also the bases, and the basins made he on the bases. 1 sea, and the 12 oxen under it. The pots also, and the shovels, and the forks, and all its vessels, did Huram his father make for King Solomon, for the house of Yahweh of bright brass. In the plain of the Jordan did the king cast them, in the clay ground between Succoth and Zeradah. Thus Solomon made all these vessels in great abundance, for the weight of the brass could not be found out. The instruments of gold. Solomon made all the vessels that were in the house of God, the golden altar also, and the tables with the showbread on them, and the lampstands with their lamps, to burn according to the ordinance before the oracle, of pure gold, and the flowers, and the lamps, and the tongs, of gold, and that perfect gold, and the snuffers, and the basins, and the spoons, and the firepans, of pure gold. And as for the entry of the house, the inner doors of it for the most holy place, and the doors of the main hall of the temple, were of gold.